Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You're still watching the Nile Cruise, and as we are celebrating the Labor Day at the beginning of May every year, we are delighted to have with us today Mr. Mostafa Rostom. He is former head of the International Relations Department at the Labor Union. Thank you very much for joining us today on Nile TV.
Thank you very much.
Tell me more about the Labor Day and how it all started, Egypt celebrating the Labor Day. When?
It was during President late Nasser.
Okay.
President Nasser, because he was the first president who has given the workers their right to organize.
Yeah.
And it was during this time they make the celebration in Mahalla Cobra, in very good festivals areas.
Yeah.
And then has been a very good, honorable for the workers' needs and the interest, because during this time it was a socialist government and they have been working for the interest of the workers of the governmental sector, public sector in general.
Okay, Mr. Mostafa, what are the main challenges facing the labor today?
It's a very complicated question, because now when we talk about, there is a very big challenge now.
Yes.
Is to be cope with the rapid rise of President Sisi.
Yeah.
They have to cope with it, and because the President Sisi now has been working everywhere, and we have to appreciate the harmonization of the Egyptian government, because now we don't see, not only the Minister of Labor is responsible of the orders.
Yes.
Now we see the Minister of Planning, the Minister of Social Insurance. Everywhere they are doing well for the workers' interest.
Yes.
And one very important thing is just now we pave the way to send the workers abroad in Europe, not only in the Arab world. His Excellency.
They are talented. Egyptian workers are talented.
And we have now a very the Minister of Labor now, His Excellency, Mr. Gobran,
yes,
has been able to sign good contracts with Italy, with Greece, with Germany.
Amazing.
And now we are working on to be prepared the well-educated worker.
Okay.
To be able to cope with what is going in Egypt through 2030 UN strategy.
So this will make a difference.
Very
in the
big
labor
difference,
market.
of course.
Yes, sure.
Of course.
Mr. Mostafa, the government has recently raised the minimum wage.
Yes.
How do you assess the impact of this decision on both workers and small businesses?
Actually, it is a very important thing within Egypt, Egyptian government looking forward to be able to pave the workers, to be able to cope with the rise in the prices, and to be able to lead and to what we call to decrease the gap between the wages and the prices. So it is a very important step. And now after the meeting of the Supreme Council of Wages, and they make important decisions, not to oblige the private sector, but just to try to cope with the private sectors, to cope with the Egyptian government way, to pave the security for the Egyptian family and the Egyptian society.
Mr. Mostafa, many young Egyptians are now entering the labor force in the digital economy. How is Egypt adapting its labor laws and policies to fit these?
Actually, it is not only the labor law, because the labor code, the draft labor code now is in the Egyptian parliament, and there are very big discussion, and then they are trying to cope with the market.
Yes.
Digitalization has come in a very good manner, and I think the Egyptian government is preparing the youth through the Minister of Telecommunication, and I think they sign a very good agreement with Google, and we find a lot of young people that can get the license now, and through Google and through the things. And I think now it is very important now to be able to give the right challenge, the right cooperation, to be able to raise this kind after the announcement of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi about the importance of this topic and this field.
Okay, and moving to women, tell me more about the workforce, that progress been made in supporting the working women.
Actually, we cannot say anything after the announcement of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi for the Women Year.
Yes.
Everybody now is
President
working.
is always supporting women.
Of course, of course. And actually the Egyptian woman has been able to take a lot of adventures
Yes.
that they never get in the previous eras,
Yeah.
either in the parliament, either in the ministries, either in as ambassadors now, either we can see governors now, women.
Yes.
And
Everywhere.
yes, everywhere.
Women
And
are dominating.
exactly, and even the nomination of Egyptian figures in what we call it in the United Nations now. It is a very important thing. President Abdel Fattah is giving a very good push.
Yes.
Actually, the new labor code or the draft code is supporting women, and also now in the trade union movement, in particular, they work very hard to be able to support women either in the elections. Women now go through the elections; they are not appointed. In the trade union movement, they are not appointed as in the past. No, the women goes, and we have Dr. Solaf Darwish as the president, president of the Bank Workers Union, first elected woman, not only in Egypt but in the Middle East, and she has been able to take a post of the Secretary General of the Arab Federation of Banks and Unions. So it is, woman is very lucky.
Yes.
Woman is very lucky. Yes.
Okay, Mr. Mostafa, what role do labor unions and syndicates play in protecting the workers' rights?
Actually, the role of the trade union movement around the whole world is to defend labor rights, and to be able, it is not only to defend, but also to educate the workers about their rights, their duties, and to be able to train also, not only for the trade union life, but also for the industry itself. And we find now in Egypt now we have we have more than one federation, but the main one till now is Egyptian Trade Union Federation, where I have been working. We have building and woodworkers has their own training center for the building trade. And it is not only to be able to train the workers on a domestic way, no, they are preparing the workers to go abroad. And they have an ISO, what we call certificate from UK. So it is a very important thing just about the role of the trade union movement now in the tripartite life. It is very important, and now we are approaching the labor, the ILO conference. Now we are approaching it, so it is very important to do it and to tell about the change of the trade union movement now. Now we sign protocols to be able to support, because we support our country. We are fighters to support the Egyptian cause in the international labor office, in conferences. It is a parliament for the workers and the laborers and the employers. So we are doing what we can to defend, because now we have a very big challenge about the informal sector.
Okay.
That the president also and the Egyptian government is try to adapt them and to try to qualify them to go through the labor market also.
Mr. Mostafa, I would like to ask you about the government strategies for tackling the unemployment.
Actually, now we can find, without talking, you can see last 2 weeks, if you follow the ILO strategy and also the work with the Minister of Labor, we can find now they have established what they call it NGO for unemployment, and this also for the disabled person. And
so this will help.
This will help them,
yes, sure.
and because they give them working chances.
Yes.
In every, and we try also to adapt them for the market,
yes,
to give them some training, like an important training agreement with the Italians Don Bosco, to be able to make a shift career for some students who don't find, some graduates, I'm sorry, so be able to give them a kind of tactics to work. And now we cannot talk, we have to be a little bit patient, because now we go, all the world is following what is going in
yes,
Egypt except us.
Yes.
We find a lot of new industrial cities,
okay,
we find a lot of inauguration of a lot of things, and I think recently the signing of the agreements with President Macron,
Yeah.
a successful visit,
Yeah.
and yesterday the Indonesian president,
Yeah.
and now President Sisi is in Qatar and go to Saudi Arabia.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
these things are going, but we need also not only to be patient, but to look for the job. I can
Yes.
sit on the coffee shop and looking for the job.
Yes,
And
sure.
also they have now a lot of websites
Yeah.
for the ILO, for the
Yes,
Egyptian
social
government.
media is now
Yes,
dominating.
yes, everything, and we have a lot of.
Yes. Mr. Mostafa Rostom, the former head of the International Relations Department at the Labor Union, thank you very much for joining us today on Nile TV.
Thank you, my honor.
Thank
you very much. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, short break and we will be back.